Corbyn's leadership unfold, did you think that, you know, the reforms that you'd pushed through were being undone?
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that, tell you the truth. No, I didn't. Nobody's ever put it to me in that way. I didn't think of it like that at all. I just, insofar that there was a main theme of thought, it was, this is what would have happened to the Labour Party if Tony Benn had become leader. Even though Ben was vastly more capable in every possible way, from intelligence to charm, than Jeremy Corbyn. That's not Corbyn's fault, that's just how it is. But it exactly the same illusions would have transfixed the Labour Party. Not the whole party, obviously, but certainly those who were prepared to make their voices heard. And, I mean, Jeremy, whatever his qualities, when people asked me about him, I said, look, I don't know anything about Jeremy Corbyn because he never figured. He was such a guaranteed oppositionist that we never made any calculations that included him or about half a dozen others in the Parliamentary Labour Party. He was sitting there as a Member of Parliament for Islington, my Member of Parliament, as it happens now, by some irony of fate, but it didn't register. I mean, this guy, by the time he became leader of the party, had been 33 years, a third of a century, in Parliament. There is no Jeremy Corbyn private members bill. There is no memorable question or speech in a debate. There is no evidence of presence on a select committee or a standing committee. All Jeremy did for 33 years, doubtlessly serve his constituency, fine, great, and go around groups of people who already agreed with him. And that's not really a test of leadership capability. I don't think it's even a very good test of representative capacity, but that's another argument. So my predominant in my mind at that time was, this is a guy who just can't do the job. And he certainly can't do the job in a way in which Labour is going to appeal to a broader section of the electorate, which is the task. I mean, it's a job that I strove to do, I failed to do. We picked up 3.5 million extra votes in the process, but in the end, we were 1,240 votes short. And that's how we lost by 21 seats. And I knew this guy was never going to come anywhere near that. There was the phenomenal election of 2017, in particular circumstances, the last election in which I did any real work. And on the first day, I encountered people who said they would vote for the sitting MP, but they weren't going to vote for Corbyn. And they wanted my assurance that if they voted Labour, Corbyn still wasn't going to get in. That was 2017.
But over and above Corbyn himself, I mean, when you looked at his Labour Party, I mean, were Momentum militant reborn?
No. There were people around the leadership of Momentum who were the remnants of the 57 varieties of ultra-leftist groups from the 1980s who got older and absolutely no wiser. But one thing they did understand, and that was the necessity not to manifestly form a party within a party with its separate organization, propaganda, etc., the sliver of the Constitution on which we managed to prosecute militant members. So they didn't make that mistake. And what they did was mobilize a large number of absolutely devout, committed young people who genuinely and justifiably want change and want it rapidly. Now, I couldn't disagree with a word of that. I mean, that's where I am. I still want that. But I believe that those youngsters, intelligent kids, most of them with certainly a secondary school and higher education background, were driven by the desire for change and the belief that it could be achieved by declaration. And hell, any of us who haven't been through that feeling when we were in our late teens, early 20s, must have missed adolescence altogether. So I don't blame them at all. And by opening up some new frontiers, fresh thinking and so on, Momentum made a useful contribution and was never militant, because it never, despite the ambition of some of those in the leadership, had any form of clandestine operation.
Okay. But notwithstanding that, have you been impressed by the way Keir Starmer has stamped his authority on the party since he became leader?